Who's written a contract this week?
I wrote a couple.
You wrote a couple?
Yeah, I had a house go on the market Sunday. By Monday, within 24 hours, we got 3 offers. And then, so we wrote that contract, and then I wrote a contract for the people selling the house on a house that was accepted.
That is stinking awesome, Babette.
Thank you.
That is great. Awesome. All right. So how many of you, let's see, you closed one right before I've been back. You were closing one, I think, and we talked about that. Have you written 3 this month? How many have you written this month?
In July, 2.
2? Okay. So these 2. I thought you wrote one at the first of the month. Did you write one at the very end of June, or? Seems like you've written one since you and I have been talking. You had that 25 people open house.
Right. I wrote that one, and that was June. And then I wrote these 2, which was
So you've got 3, correct, under contract right now.
Right. We're supposed to close Thursday on the one from June.
Okay, good deal. So who else has written? Kaiten, you've got some in closing. I got you with your mouth. You're eating lunch or something. Sorry.
So I wrote an offer last night, got accepted at noon this morning. So I got one more.
Good deal. So that makes how many for you under contract? 2?
2
now?
under contract, and I'm working on a 3rd one. Hopefully it'll go through. It's a complicated land deal.
I think you told me something about you were about to cap. When I look at your numbers, and guys, this is something I will do with you guys. They finally got me in as PC, and so I'll be checking those things, but it doesn't show company dollar, and it doesn't show you with anything. So we need to check your numbers and see what's happening on that. How many of you closed since you started with KW?
2. I've closed 2, and then I have 2 under contract right now as we speak, as of this minute. And then I'm working on another one. And I'm hoping to get a listing. I'm really, thanks to everyone on this call that has been partnering with me on a script practice. And thanks to, I saw Justin Ferris, thanks to him pointing out, sending me a pointer the other day. It helped me a lot. So thanks everyone.
Good. So share with us, what was that pointer? This is where we learn things from each other.
So he shared with me a Ben Kinney YouTube video for a listing presentation. And I used that before I went and talked to a friend of mine that was going to go with someone else. He ended up going with that other person, but I at least felt confident after practicing that YouTube video and what we can do as Keller Williams and I can do to help that person. He still wanted to go with the other person because that other person has helped him rent that home for the last 1 year. So that was his prerogative, but
sometimes they change their minds though. They don't do those things. So, when you close again with some different facts like that, then some facts that, and Ben Kinney's been doing this for a long time. Actually, I don't know if y'all know that or not, but he's talking about Ben Kinney, who owns a bought Active Rain, and he's one of the mega leaders with Keller Williams. And so a great guy to watch in the past and in the future, things that he does. So thank you for sharing that. Anybody else have some things anybody put something else under contract? Babette's got 3 and Kaiten's got 2.
I have 2 listings, one under contract and one that went live last week, and had several showings on it, so hopefully get an offer soon.
So you have a listing under contract and then a new listing with several showings.
Yes.
Why don't you talk about your listing under contract, Erin, because that's been a little bit of a challenge for you, hasn't it?
It has been a little bumpy. So this was a relocation contract, and I have learned several things about a transaction with a relocation company tagging on there. The listing went live, and we had 7 showings that day and multiple offers, and that particular relocation company requires that they sign the offer rather than the sellers, and so that was a new process. I had the seller sign and then had to end up going back to have Relo sign that offer. But it all worked out. We're under contract, and hopefully we will close 23rd this month.
If you're new and you start working with a relocation company, that's a whole new ball game. They play very different. And Aaron and I have talked about this, and a lot of times, because it was some of the companies I've owned in the past, we were preferred relocation companies and still was very irritated. It was very hard. So you definitely have to do things their way, guys. So don't be afraid to ask, to make sure that you're doing things, because most of the time they're pretty nice. They charge a hefty referral fee. And so it makes you, the thing I think, this is what I said to Aaron, is those are like gimmies anyway. If you're friends that are moving or relocation and they want to work with you, then it's worth it because they're giving you something. They're saying here. And relocation companies generally have their pick of people that they work with. So when you get one, it's sort of nice to think about what you're doing. You do pay a fee for it, and they expect a whole lot that you're doing on this side for that. But congratulations, you're working through it. When is that one closing, Aaron?
That's supposed to close 23rd of July.
Okay, so it's not much longer.
Yeah.
Not much longer. Has anybody else got a listing this week? Have you taken a listing this week? Okay, I'm going to tell you that one of the things that Gary Keller is preaching from the top down with Keller Williams is that we focus on listings, that we focus on getting those listings. I know that it's easier to work with the buyers that you have, that you're working with them, but I want to reemphasize when you're working on your plan to focus, somehow keep those listings in there. And as we talk about open houses today, there's times that I really wish I could look you in the eye and I could be in that room and we could see each other. Justin's been in some of my coaching things, and Drake will probably hears it from Kalaisha, because she said something to me the other day about, they miss your passion when they see you in person. And I said, I don't know. I move my hands and I still go like this a whole lot, even on Zoom. But I want you to understand that listings, you list to exist. You really do. And especially in this market right now. We're in a seller's market, and if you can take a listing and you can take it right, it's going to sell. If it doesn't sell, then it's not priced right all the way up, because we've just got a shortage of inventory right now. So focus on taking a listing. Be sure and put that in your plan. Now, with open houses that we're going to talk about today, you can still reach sellers at an open house. Do most of you understand that? See, in our mindset, old time open houses of what used to be, and we're not in the normal anymore of what used to be, so we can change all of that again. But we used to think that you go and you sit in an open house. I mean, from days back, we would print off an MLS, we'd go to an open house, we'd put the sign out, and we'd sit in that open house, and nobody would come. So what we're trying to do is to focus on how can you do an open house and get buyer and seller business out of it. So that's one of the things that we're gonna look at today. So we're gonna move into this. Again, because we're having to do coaching via Zoom, I'll stop a couple of different times. We'll ask if you have questions. This is an open platform. It's a safe platform. If you don't understand something or you have a question, please stop and ask. Raise your hand. Carrie is monitoring this, and she'll say if somebody puts in the chat, I need to ask a question, we'll stop it and we'll talk about that. So Carrie, if you will start the recording, we're going to start in on our open house. So today we're talking about open house by design. And what I did was I went back to my mega open house training, and I compared mega, virtual, and then just regular open houses, because this market is very different. And I think I told Justin maybe this yesterday when we were together. He was doing a video shoot for me, and we talked about people going, if we could just go back to the normal. Guys, this is the norm. This is the norm. And then another thing we talked about on leadership this morning was not to feel like, to bring the happy out in us, because we feel like we're so challenged with everything. And I want to say this to you, you learn when you're in the middle of challenges. We don't learn when things are easy. So whatever's happening in your life right now, consider it a blessing, because you're learning, you're winning as you go through this. Okay, so what I do with open houses is there's 7 steps. that I think are, and you can have 3, you can have 10, but I hone in on the 7. And so first of all, we're going to identify the property and get the seller's permission. If you look to the right of that, I've got mega and I've got regular. If you're doing a virtual open house, you've already got the seller's permission, and you can do that at any time you want to. Now let's talk about what are different ways that you can do a virtual open house. I'm going to open it up again and I'm going to get you to talk to me. What do you think a virtual open house is? What is that?
It's a like online, like doing it, not having people come to the actual house, but like maybe doing like being at the house and having like a Zoom or some kind of like video thing open to where people can join it.
Yes, right. You can do those a couple of different ways. And one of the reasons I have Justin here, he's going to talk to you about how you can do a virtual by just sending a video out like that. You can announce, I'm going to do a virtual open house and it's going to be this weekend, and you can have people come online so you can watch what they're saying online. You can take them in different rooms. You can answer their questions. Those kind of, has anyone done something like that? Yes, go ahead.
I did a virtual open house at this Sunday. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on.
I think she might be coming back. She must have been going to turn the music off wherever it was. Justin, you want to talk to us about that, and then Mackenzie can talk when she comes back.
Yeah, absolutely. How much do you want me to talk?
Just talk about how you're doing. Now, I'm going to go into your recording in just a few minutes, so wait for that one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, virtual open houses are, like Marcella said, a part of our new normal. And with so many people moving here from out of state, it needs to be something that we're really comfortable doing. I remember the first time I had a deal with somebody that I didn't meet them in person until closing, until we handed them the keys. Who moved here from California. We did the entire transaction via FaceTime, mail out closing, everything. It needs to be something that we are comfortable with, like Marcella said, because even in non-COVID, atmosphere that we're in right now, we have so many people moving here from out of state. I've got somebody under contract right now. We've done almost everything through FaceTime as well. So for a virtual open house, what I recently did, because I thought, I could just do like a Zoom hangout or something like that and just kind of sit there looking at the camera and hoping someone dials in. But I thought, you know what, this was an accidental virtual open house, because I was doing one in person. I just kind of wanted to test the waters. It was a little ways out of town. It was more like at Highfill. And so I wasn't really expecting a ton of people anyways. So what I did was I went to all the major real estate Facebook groups. Most of you are probably members of them. NWA Homes for Sale or Lease, 411 Homes for Sale, all these different sites. You guys are aware of these groups. Some of them have 50, 60, 70,000 members. And I actually started doing Facebook Lives in those groups. Groups are different than pages. Inside of a group, you can do a live. So I would do a 5-minute open house in all of them, and I would walk them through the property as if they were actually there. And so I would stand out in front of the house, and I'm using my gimbal. I've got my phone on a gimbal. Hey, this is Justin Ferris with Keller Williams Martin Pro Realty. Welcome to 123 Easy Street. Let me show you around. And I showed them, walked them around, features, benefits, and then we'd go to the next group and do the same thing. And in each of those groups, I probably had 5 or 6 people from that group watching in on my live. I really wanted to appease my sellers in this because nobody was showing up and they weren't sure if it was a good use of time anyways. And so being able to say, hey, I walked 25 people through your house today, it is saying something. It's especially in times like this when we want to be doing everything we can to show our worth. It's a huge thing. So that's just one of the ideas that I've had. Instead of hoping an audience comes to me, going to them and going into those groups and doing Facebook Lives. What's really cool about them is, does everybody know the difference between just regular marketing and evergreen marketing? What evergreen marketing means? So
if they
evergreen.
If they don't, go ahead and explain it to them, because that's a good idea for this. Yes.
Yeah. So evergreen marketing is marketing that kind of stays out there. This is semi-evergreen marketing. Being able to do Facebook Lives, because it stays up for a while. It's not just they had to be on there and missed you by 5 minutes. it stays on those sites. And so other people came and watched those later, and it gave us more views on that property, and it sold in just a week, and it was a great deal for my clients. But evergreen marketing is being able to put out videos and things, because what I found is where I've gotten business from open houses has not necessarily been for that house. And Marcella, we know that, you know, historically, you know, selling that house to a person at the open house is rare. It does happen. I've had it happen. You've had it happen many times. But I've picked up buyers for other stuff from an open house where someone says, I like that house. Could you find me one like that in Bentonville? And just being present out there and putting stuff out there is such a great way to stay top of mind with people and to show what you do, because there's other people with other agents who just go, yeah, I'm not doing open houses right now. Sorry.
One of the things that, I'm sorry, Justin, go ahead.
No, you're good. No, you're good.
I was just going, one of the things that he's talking about here when he says he's putting himself out there is evergreen. What we have to understand in this business, that people buy from you because they know you, like you, and trust you. So he's accomplishing something else because he's getting his face out there. They feel like it's friendly. They feel like he knows the market, what's happening. So, and we'll talk a little bit more about that stuff. I want him to have some extra time as we get in a few slides down, and we're talking about inviting them virtually. So now we're talking about a mega open house, and we're going to explain that, a virtual open house. So we've sort of explained that. And a regular open house, that was one of those open houses that we were talking about where you just go pop the sign up and we go sit in for a couple of hours and hope everything happens. You can do anything from, Keller Williams calls our mega like 7th level. And we're going to go through all the steps that we have to go through to have a 7th level open house. They also, at that point, the regular can be anywhere in between 7 level, 3, 4, 5, just not doing all the things that a mega. So again, we want to keep in mind our market is a little bit different. It's changing a little bit right now, and you may fit somewhere in the middle of all these, but as we talk about all the different steps, you can see what fits your property well with that. So the first thing we did is you can do a mega or a regular when you identify the property. One of the things that, well, I'm going to go on. I'm just going to tell you the 7 steps, and then as we go into this, we'll talk about that. And then the second thing you're going to talk about is preparing the marketing, like targeting the right people and gathering the materials for whatever you're going to do. And you can do that in any session of these, in a virtual, in a mega, or a regular one. Then inviting the people, get the word out, create excitement. We've shared a little bit of that with what Justin was talking about. You can do that on every level that we're gonna entertain today. Then setting it up, prepping the house. You can do that even on a virtual, you know, set it up and prepping it. Usually you think about mega and you think about a regular, but even on virtual, you know, you want that house to look its best when you film it to go in here and do this, or when you're sitting there. Actually, what Justin's talking about is being inside the house and walking people through that house on several different feeds that are out there, groups that are out there. And he'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. And then host the event, all 3 levels, wrapping it up, all 3 levels, and then follow up. Follow up when you're doing this is going to be so key for whether you get a sale or you get business, future business out of what you're doing. Like Justin just mentioned, he had someone come on there that didn't necessarily like that house, but they said, can you find me one like that that's in this area? So you're going to pick up clients there too. And then we're also, in all of these different ones, we're going to be able to meet with the sellers. And we'll talk about that a little bit as we go. So these are the 7 steps that I feel like that are successful as far as an open house. So 1, we're going to identify the property. This is your storefront. So you want something, when you're taking the time to do this, you want curb appeal. How does it look from the street when you drive up, look at the photos, spend time, most time here, because we understand that in today's market, especially where we're using the internet a lot, that we have 95% of the people are going to start their search on the internet, and pictures are the most important thing that they look at. So you want good pictures, you want great videos. The outside is more important than the inside. The outside has to sparkle. And then easy access, the fewer turns. If you're advertising, I'm going to have an open house at this property, especially for a mega and a regular, because you're going to put out signs, and we're going to talk about, as your traffic boosters, signs are the #1 thing that the public looks at. So the fewer turns, major intersections, entrance, you know, if they're close to a grocery store, if they're close to getting off the bypass. So the fewer turns you have, the better off you're going to be. So look at traffic patterns. One thing I would suggest here is that when you decide you're going to do an open house in person, here I've got mega and regular. Because if you're virtual, it's not going to make that much difference. You're not going to put signs out to get people there because you're online doing it. But you might pull it up on Google Maps or whatever map system that you're using and pull a radius around that, and then figure out where you need signs. How are you going to put those people and get them to come in to that open house? Great strategy there. And vacant is always easier to work with. Occupied can work, but consider your listings first. And then you could look at other agents in the office, especially as a brand new agent. A lot of times you don't have listings that are conducive to open houses. I love something that I think it was Justin that said this maybe a few minutes ago. Anyway, whoever said it is rural properties are great for virtual because you don't have to get people to drive out there. They can see where they are. We've also talked about how people are wanting to be more rural today. So this is a great opportunity to do a virtual with rural. Get outside and look at what they've got. You know, do video, have someone else if you don't know how to do video, but get video of that property and the woods and the creeks, the streams, the things that are there. How close is it to the lakes that are a part of this? So you want some video with that as you're doing this virtual. Okay, step 2 is marketing your open house. And again, we said, I want you to think about marketing to buyers and also to sellers. And we're going to go into this just a little bit in detail as we walk through here. But with buyers, directional signs are the number one thing. If people are out driving around and they're actually looking at houses and they're going to open houses, you want as many directional signs out as possible. You're going to market it on the internet with internet postings. Another thing you're going to do is notify the buyer leads that you've had. Like we've talked about when you are on a virtual open house and they say, find me one in this area. Those are now your buyer leads, which need to go in your pipeline, which is one of the systems that you use as a new agent. And agents that are in coaching that have contracts are in our box.com. The ones of you that are on there, then you've got a pipeline available to you. What a pipeline does with your buyers is when you talk to them, if they're ready to buy in 3 months, if they're ready to buy in a month, you're going to source those buyers from a 10 down to a 1. And 10s are not going to buy really quick, you know, but they need to stay in your pipeline to remind you, you know, who's looking and who you need to market to. These are the people that you're going to send this out to, all of your buyers that are in your pipeline. Flags and balloons are things that are necessary. I like flags and balloons even for virtual, because if you go outside, it looks like your happy place. When I say balloons, it's got an S on the end. When you're doing that and you're doing video of it, you don't want one balloon flapping in the wind. You want more balloons. Then your video announcements, so we're gonna go into that in a lot of detail today, because I think video is really, really important in today's market with our challenges that we have with COVID and our pandemic, and with the market picking back up, and the shortage of homes that we have with sellers market. So the seller side of this is directional signs is still at the top, and invite the neighbors. So one of the things on inviting the neighbors, how can you invite the neighbors? And we'll talk about this a little bit later, but let's somebody pick up this thing. What would you think would be a good way to invite your neighbors?
Marcella, can I jump in on that?
Absolutely, yes.
So you were talking about directional signs, balloons, things like that. Probably the best open house I ever did. I was with a team, and they had a whole shed full of open house signs, and nobody really took them home. So I stole all of them, like 60. And I loaded them in my SUV, and I put out 60 signs for this open house.
Yes.
It was located in Rogers, and it was about halfway between 71 and 49. And I had signs all the way from the off ramp at 49 all the way to 71. And I found these like pinwheels at Walmart. It was just after 4th of July. And so they were selling them for like 10 cents a piece. I bought all of them I could get my hands on. And I took dowel rods and put in the top of my open house signs, and then put those on top of them. And so there were just pinwheels everywhere, and it looked like a circus. And I had people show up to that open house who literally said, we saw all the signs, we saw the pinwheels, we had to stop in and see what was going on.
Yes.
Just for that reason. And I ended up with somebody under contract, a buyer, who stumbled into that. They just like, I just kept seeing your signs everywhere, and I put them out on a Friday, And yeah, it was just make it look like a circus. Just think, hey, the circus is in town. Let me make this, like you said, a happy place, a fun place to go. Because that's going to beat the socks off of, somebody who puts one sign in the yard and calls it good. And there's actually Joshua Smith with Keller Williams talks about this. He said he has people come into his open houses and say, I have to fire my current realtor because they put one sign in the yard and nobody showed up and they just sat there and ate cookies all day. And, this is incredible. So yeah, you're talking about a good way to talk to the neighbors. Circle prospecting is huge, and you're going to run into so many seller leads from that when you start talking to people, and it opens up so much more conversation when you start making those calls. And the script I like to use is, hey, I just wanted to let you know, Marcella, you're probably seeing going to be seeing some major activity in your neighborhood this weekend. I just didn't want you to be alarmed. I wanted to let you know, and as a courtesy to you, let you know what's going on. We're having a mega open house. Have you ever been to a mega open house before? And most people are going, like, what is a mega open house? Oh my
what's
goodness.
a mega, Justin?
Oh my goodness, you're going to love this, Marcella. This is the biggest open house you've ever been to. We're going to have prizes. We've got prizes donated by a title company, by a lender. We've got $50 gift card to Target, $50 gift card to Walmart, $50 gift card to Cabela's. And for the first 30 minutes of this mega open house, it's going to be a VIP mega open house, only open to people in your neighborhood, because we want to give you guys an opportunity to come view this house in case you have a friend or family member or coworker who would want to move to your beautiful neighborhood, or if you'd like to find out more about possibly selling your house and see what this neighborhood is bringing. So we'd love to have you there. Just come at 1:30 before everybody else gets there. I'm excited to meet you.
That's great. I think you've been in my coaching before with that VIP the hour before.
Yes,
the
I
hour
sure
before.
have.
I love that. And so let me ask you, let's take this a little bit deeper, because he said circle prospecting around for the neighbors. What does that mean to you guys? Somebody tell me.
Calling the neighborhood.
Drake, calling the neighborhood. And where do you get the phone numbers to call the neighborhood, Drake?
That system that you use.
Yes, yes, that's exactly right. And I
From
paid
Carrie.
for that from Carrie. So she said, Carrie, I want you to speak up here, but how many people have actually asked you out of this group for numbers from Cole and Mojo?
I think 3 or 4.
Okay.
22.
So out of 22, 3 or 4, is there someone on here that doesn't understand what that does? Because that's a really good benefit for you to be in coaching that I'm paying for.
One of the best things it does is you give us numbers that are not on the do not calls.
Yes.
So we didn't have to worry about that. That was
We did.
great.
Yes. We screen them off of the do not call list. We sure do. So when has somebody, so you've gotten the numbers. So are you getting Cole or Mojo? Which one are you getting, Babette?
Oh, I'd have to ask Carrie. I think she sent me Mojo. I think she sent me Mojo.
Well, I can remember I sent Kathan some Mojo numbers, and then I've sent Courtney some Mojo numbers. I think most everybody has asked for a specific area, and if you ask for a specific area, those come off of Cole.
Cole. Okay, so what happens if you're going to do what Justin's talking about here? So if, let's say you're going to hold 123 Wood Street open, and so you call Carrie and say, Carrie, I'm holding an open house at 123 Wood Street. Can you pull the houses around that? So she will do like a 2-mile radius or 1 mile, whatever you ask her to do. Or if you want to target one subdivision, get an address in that subdivision and she can target just that area for you. But she'll send you, a lot of times it'll have the email, it'll have phone numbers, it'll have addresses. So you can send them something out, you can call them, and you use the script that Justin just used. Hey, this is Marcella with Hagen Group at Keller Williams, and we're doing an open house at 123 Wood Street. We know that when 1 or 2 homes go on the market, when one home goes on the market, another 1 or 2 go on the market in the next month or so. When do you plan on buying, selling, or investing in real estate? Oh, I'm not sure I'm going to even do that. Well, let me tell you, I'm sure you're interested in what the market is doing right now. I've got market information for you. And if you want to stop by our open house and check out what the competition is, we'd love to have you. Again, we're having a VIP for just the neighbors. And we're going to have that between 1 and 2. The open house starts at 2. we're going to have a special drawing for the VIP people that show up between 1 and 2, and we're going to be giving away whatever you're giving away, and then you're going to have another drawing later. So with that said, you invite them to the open house. You tell them what the market's doing, and you again become a friend of theirs. And we've had people, when we were doing an open house, this has been a while back. This has been a while back, and I've got some video I'm going to show you in a little bit. However, I forgot to check the video, so I hope it's moving. I have to stop sharing and check that on there. But anyway, the video, we had people come through this open house, and this guy said, we had all these flags out like Justin was saying, and he went, good night. I had to stop in and see what was going on at that point. People do notice all the flags, all the balloons, and everything that's out there. And then we had somebody came through. This is the kind of stuff that happens when you do the mega open house. Someone came through and said, you know, we're thinking about putting our house on the market. Would you do this for us if we do that? They want an aggressive agent that will go to the trouble to do these kind of things. So thank you for sharing that, Justin. That's exactly what I was looking for. Whoops, let me go back. I didn't finish those things. Okay, so video announcements, we're going to talk about that by itself in just a second. Drawings and giveaway, we've mentioned that just a little bit. Let me tell you from what I've learned, your title companies that are affiliates with you, your lenders, they will donate stuff for your giveaways. So don't be afraid to ask them. They want to be on your list. They want to help you. And another thing, when you've got the food, drink, and the music, finger foods, I wouldn't serve like a whole lot of, we've done chili and stuff like that before, but you got to be really careful because of carpets and kids and people that come. Another great idea on an open house, if you've got children that you think will be there and probably will come with parents the way things are today, you might go to the dollar store and buy some crayons and a ribbon and put 3 or 4 crayons and tie them together. Another thing you can do is to get a program that will copy the house that you're in. So just get a picture, like do a black and white, and then hand that out with the crayons and have your name and everything on the bottom of the picture. Give that out to the kids, and guess where that crayon, that picture is going to go when they go home and color it? Where do you think?
On the fridge.
On the fridge, yes. Your name, that house that you were showing them colored on here is going to go on the fridge. So just an idea that may help you with some of the giveaways and things. And everybody likes it when you give their kids something, but be careful and watch the children as they take the crayons and they don't color on the walls in the house as you go through. One of the things on step 3 is invite the people that I wanted to share with you. Is I call these 10 traffic boosters. And you heard Justin mention Joshua Smith a few minutes ago. He's one of the people that I got a lot of these ideas from years ago, and with several different people. They went NAR, all kinds of statistics that they have pulled together for this. So this is what they're saying are the top 10 traffic boosters when you do a mega. And I've gone down through each one of these, mega or regular or virtual, so you can sort of see where they are in the traffic booster. Directional signs, you know, you're not going to need those for virtual. Invite the neighbors. We've talked about that. That's number 2. Number 3 is notify your buyers. Internet postings. I really think as we watch the statistics that internet postings are going to move really close to the top at this point, especially the way we're doing video and a lot of different things with the way the market's moving. Flags and balloons. Video announcements is number 6. I do think that that's going to move up. Targeted Facebook ads, I think that's going to move up. Drawings and giveaway, I don't think that's as important. But when you're doing your video, it's really nice to say, I've got this, this, and this. It's being furnished by Liberty Title. And thank you, Lisa Kalklaser, for giving me this $50 gift certificate. And thank you, Ron Martindale with United Federal Credit Union, who's furnishing another $50 giveaway. Thank you for the food that was brought in here by whoever. Your internet, what's your inspection company, Babette? Yes, I was going to ask you so I could use that name instead of another one.
Yeah.
What is it? Say it out loud so we'll hear it. Your inspector.
In the
Your
know
company.
inspections.
What? Say it again. I'm sorry.
In the know inspections.
In the know. Okay. I don't know if I've ever asked you that. In the know inspections. All right. So I don't know if they provide things or not. Yes, you can break in there.
Yeah. So one of the things that's kind of a newer way to do, you're talking about video announcements, that you can combine what's happening with a lot of this stuff is it's intersecting. with video with other things. So one of the ways you can actually do video announcements, circle prospecting, I don't even know what you would call it when we're doing this, but you get those numbers from Cole Realty. And I've done this before and had good response from it. You get those numbers from Cole Realty, and now there's a great company called BombBomb. I think, Marcelo, you've had some experience with it. So BombBomb allows you to send a video without a link. If someone sends me a video link, I immediately think it's a virus. I'm not going to download that, especially from a stranger's number. But if someone gets a video from my number, it's there, just like it would be a picture. And so I did this in a house I was doing an open house for in Farmington, and I shot a little quick video of myself. Hey, it's Justin Ferris with Keller Williams Market Pro Realty. Hey, I just wanted to let you know about, VIP open up, blah, blah, blah. I did my script and then sent it to the numbers I got from Cole Realty. And it was so interesting. There were people who were like, cool marketing. Like they literally said that, cool marketing. That was their only response on one of them. But it makes you stand out again, and it puts your face in front of people. So they see your face when they're driving down the street back and forth to their own home. Oh, I got a video from that guy. That's different. So you can actually use video to do circle prospecting. Now, it does not excuse you from not calling them. It's not used in place, but text, anything like that. I mean, if you're getting their names, go friend them on Facebook too. I would say 70% of my Facebook, I have no clue who they are. If I have more than 20 friends in common with them, I friend them. But that's a way to market as well. Go friend everybody in that neighborhood and send them something on Facebook. The more things you're doing, and there's something interesting, Marcel, that I just thought about. We were talking about directional signs, and maybe there is a way we can intersect directional signs with a virtual open house, maybe with a rider that says virtual house 2 to 4
Good
p.m.
idea.
on Sunday, Zoom, have a Zoom number or whatever, and you've got it playing right there. And so maybe we can use directional signs. We can add something to the directional signs to drive them. Because if you've noticed, there's a funnel happening here. We know that according to NAR last year, about 7% of all homes, Marcel, you'll correct me on this if I'm wrong, I believe it was 7% of all homes came from a yard sign or open house sign, or from an open house. We usually see between 5 and 7% of homes sold come from open houses. 50% came from online, from the internet. So you see everything is driving that direction. Everything is driving towards internet. And like you said, Marcella, you're exactly right. Next year, we're going to see, for 2020, I would say probably upwards of 70 homes will have been found online. Not a whole lot of driving around, going to open houses during the at least 3 or 4 months of this year. So I think in this next year, it's going to be the thing that people have been trained to do. We look online first. So I think your class is so timely, and it's going to be the new normal. It's going to drive more sales online. So
Thank you for sharing that. And also another way that you can use that little small clip is if you're making cold calls, if that's part of your plan and you're calling expired, you're calling for sale by owners, or even if you're calling circle dialing and you're calling the people and they don't answer, why not do a little snippet of yourself saying, hey, this is Marcella. I'm with the Hagen Group at Keller Williams Market Pro Realty, and I just left you a message, but I wanted you to put a face with a voice. Thank you for taking my call. I mean, they will watch that. They may not listen to your voicemail that you've got on there. They will watch a video. Yes.
Absolutely.
So thank you for saying that. Let's move on. And this is your time. And thank you for sharing when it wasn't your time. So at this, it's okay. Whoops, let me go back. I'm trying to minimize the people on here. Okay, Justin is a friend of mine. He's been through coaching with me, and we've been through a lot of different things together, and he has really found something that he loves, his passion. He loves real estate, but he really loves doing these videos. He's very good at it, and he's got so many neat ideas that I thought it would be good for us to have him talk. So Justin, I know there's other things that you want to talk. Is there something you want to show online, or you want me to let you share, be co-host, or you just want to talk for right now?
Yeah, so we can show some of the video. I think it's kind of hard to do on Zoom, and I know Zoom only plays video at about 8 frames per second, that's really slow. And most of the stuff that I shoot is at 60 frames per second. So it doesn't usually look great, but when we post this on the Facebook group, I'll put some of my videos in the comment section below. So they can watch that. But yeah, so I really got into video by total accident. I did some commentary on a situation I saw in a Chick-fil-A about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. And so I don't know that I don't want to say I do comedy on the side, but I did a quick video called Cussing in Chick-fil-A. Don't worry, it wasn't me. But I did this video and it accidentally went viral.
Stop a minute. Who on here has seen that video? It went viral. I'd be surprised. Look at that. Oh, there's some. They're raising their hands. A lot of you are not on here. I'm clicking through here to see. It was funny.
Yeah.
I can walk in with somewhere with Justin and they'll go, hey, you're the Chick-fil-A guy.
Pretty much.
Okay, go ahead. I just
Drake just said the Lord's waffle fries. Yeah, so there was some
Yes.
like weird catchphrase that came out of it. And so it ended up with about 30 million views across all platforms, 13 million on my personal Facebook, and then it got shared. Other platforms picked it up. But after that, people thought I knew what I was doing with video. All I did was set my phone up on my dash and hit record. And I did it in 2 takes and it was about a 3-minute long video. And so ended up with all these views. And then people started calling me saying, hey, I need your help with video. Can you help my video go viral? And I'm like, I don't know how my video went viral. I know I can't help you, but I became the video guy. And so I thought, well, I just better figure this out. I would have never put myself out there as a video guy. So I just thought, well, I'm the video guy now. I better learn video. So I just started watching a lot of things and figuring out what I need. And if you ever want to see the loadout that I carry with me everywhere, I carry a backpack around and I've got a drone. I've got a gimbal, a mic. Who knows what a gimbal is? If you don't know what a gimbal is, okay. So a gimbal is, it's kind of like a chicken. You hold a chicken's body and move it around, but the head stays still, right? And anybody, you're from Arkansas, you're supposed to know how a chicken works. So a gimbal, you put your phone in it and you can move it around and it slows down the turning of the camera. So it makes it really cinematic and smooth. I was walking around earlier. I've actually got my phone on it right now. So if you notice, I'm walking around the office and it doesn't look like I'm falling down a flight of stairs. So this is how I do most of my videos. So if you can imagine, if I'm in an open house right now, I'm saying, this is granite. It's actually not. But I can, these are windows. You could do all these things, holding a gimbal. And so I think it's probably one of the best investments. We've got Rhoda back here working super hard. Say hi, Rhoda.
What does a gimbal cost around? What's the price?
This one cost $125, I think, at Best Buy. And if you guys would like recommendations on them, I can definitely help out with that. I usually use my AirPods. I
bought one for $22 this weekend from Facebook advertising. So I don't know how good it is, but I just went and bought it. Yeah, it was on sale.
Yeah.
I just bought one at Best Buy for $99.
Yeah.
So they're not a big investment, guys. They make your videos look more stable. They stabilize what they do.
So much more professional. I just carry them everywhere.
The one that I bought was kind of AI kind of thing. So you hold some kind of remote, and if you sit the camera somewhere, the tripod, and you move around, your phone is gonna follow you. So it was pretty neat, and I thought, let me try it. $22, can't go wrong. So I'll let y'all know.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. And the one I have is made by DJI. They're probably the most popular one, and they have a similar technology where you can draw a circle around your face and it'll lock on you, and I can set my gimbal down. Ryan Blackstone has the same model, and he was blowing Mel Reed's mind the other day because he set it up and he clicked on himself and then was walking around and the gimbal was turning and following him as he taught. And Mel was looking at it going, how is that doing that? He said, well, it knows my face. So there's so many cool things you can do with it, and this technology has become extremely cheap. The first gimbal created was made for the Rocky movie. When Rocky is running up the steps and he's training for the big fight, they tried following with a camera and it was bouncing around, and they said, this is unusable. They created a gimbal. The first one was $20,000. Now you can get it for, very cheap, like Kason was talking about. And they're just fantastic. So I use those for my open house videos. So what I mainly do when I'm doing an open house, I think if you did the perfect plan would be to actually wrote it down over here a second ago. To me, the perfect plan is, an open house starts on Monday. It doesn't start on Friday or the day before. A good open house starts on Monday. That's when, it needs to be put in the MLS that you're having an open house. So it'll feed to Zillow and let people know that you're going to have an open house. They need to know the planning has to start, super early. I'm sure Marcella would agree with that.
7 to 10 days on a mega.
Yep.
Yes.
And so, it's to do a video promo on Monday is awesome. Put it on your personal page. I use my personal page way more than my business page. I don't know. I have a lot of friends and followers on there. So I find it's typically the best. So doing one every other day, doing Monday and Wednesday, you can do the Circle Prospect Bomb. I think Wednesday is a good day to start doing that. Then on Friday, do another video promo. Putting it out on all these Facebook groups that revolve around real estate. Facebook is really underrated for real estate. You should also be doing all of your listings. You should be doing a marketplace listing for any property you have. You will get so many stinking leads off of Facebook Marketplace. It is extremely underrated. So, putting it on your listing on Marketplace that you're having an open house or virtual or whatever you're wanting to do.
Hang on, do y'all know what he's talking about on Marketplace? Everybody?
Mhm.
I can't see everybody's face on here, so.
I do. And hey, Justin,
I do.
I want to sit down with you on that if you don't mind sometime
Yeah.
soon.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Hit me up. And if any of you guys have questions or want to sit down and talk or whatever, I like to talk. So we'll
If you
post
have
my
a question
number.
while he's doing this, please ask it, because that's what we've got him in here for, to help us
Yeah.
move through this so you guys can either
Yeah,
hire
absolutely.
him or
Any-
you can learn how to do it. Yes.
Yeah. Any questions at all from anyone?
So Justin, exactly what do you do when you post to Marketplace? Like, do you just have a little one-page blurb or your video?
Yeah, so it won't let you do video as of right now. So I try to do just a few pictures, hit the high points, because the problem with a lot of marketing that people do is they give too much information. They give all the information possible, and then that person goes, okay, cool, thanks. They don't need to contact you, and they just continue to look. So what you need to be looking for when you're talking to people, and mindset is so important on open houses or anything else, what you need to be looking for is objections. The reason that person does not already own a home is because they have some sort of objection. That's what I really learned actually at the open house where I did 60 signs. I'm standing in the open house and a young lady walks in. She saw the signs. She walks in, she looks a little nervous, and she walks in, and the first thing she says, I said, hi, welcome to the open house. She goes, I'm just looking. I said, oh, that's great. I love it when people, look at my open houses. Are you looking to buy or looking to potentially sell? Because like Marcella said, we miss the sellers so many times. And actually, Chris Suarez has done some research. About 80% of open house guests are actually looking to sell. So we miss a lot of this. So, I talked to her, she said, well, I want to buy. I would be a first-time home buyer, but I'm not doing anything for a year. Not doing anything for a year. I said, oh, okay, not doing anything for a year. I said, that's totally fine. I can completely understand that. So the obstacle is the way. So I said, if you don't mind me asking, what happens in a year? She said, oh, well, by then I'll have that 20% saved up, for a down payment. My brother-in-law told me I needed 20% saved up for a down payment to buy a house. Clearly her brother-in-law has not bought a house in a long time. And so now we've got our objection, right? That's the reason she doesn't have a house. She thinks she needs 20%. So if I go right in and say, oh, you don't need 20%, she can go on to another objection. So I did what's called isolating the no. You take the objection and you fortify it. So I said, okay, so you need 20% saved up for a down payment. Okay. Other than that, is there anything you feel like would keep you from owning a house or any reason why you wouldn't want to own a house? She goes, no, that's it. I said, oh, I'm so glad you said that. I said, I know this lender who's just fantastic, who can do loans for 0% down. Would that be a problem for you if you didn't have to pay anything down? She goes, no, that'd be awesome. how do you do that? She had given me fake information on the sign-in sheet. She went back and gave me her real information because she said, yeah, I'd love to talk to that lender about it. I said, perfect. They'll give you a call tomorrow. Is this a good number for you? Yeah. 3 weeks later, we were under contract on a house. So we went from a
Hang on a
year.
second. Hang on. Let's talk about what he just said. He said you need to isolate the objection. She didn't really have an objection. She had a condition. She would buy a house. That's what he was doing. She would buy a house if he got to that real reason that was in there, and it was a condition. She thought she had to have money, so he's turned her in.
She was,
yes.
and she was ill-informed or misinformed.
Yes.
Listening to someone that doesn't understand
And
what
that
is going
happens.
on in today's world.
Yep, and that happens. Yes.
You're exactly right. And, you know, we used to be and Marcella can tell you about this, you know, we used to be the guardians of information. You want to know about housing on the market, you want to know about, you know, whatever, you got to come to us. We've got the keys to this thing called the MLS. And if you want to talk, if you want information, you got to talk to us. We're no longer the providers of information. There's information everywhere, all over the internet. Now there's too much information. We are now the disseminators of information. We can say, that's incorrect. Here's what's real. That's our job. It's no longer to provide it. We're not holding it back. We've got to sort through it for people. So if the key to working with people and to really building a strong business is to get really good at sniffing out those objections or conditions, or what people think is a condition that's actually an objection, and they're just so lost. And so everybody that comes in that house, the reason they're not in the house yet, there's usually something there that you need to find out about. And so, you know, it's such a mindset thing whenever we are in these situations, talking with people, open house or otherwise, and we've got to, what I want to say is, don't be afraid of the objections. I used to be terrified when I first got in the business. Please don't ask me something. Please don't ask me something. Just buy the house. You know, I was terrified of those objections. Now you've got to talk through those objections.
Okay, wait, hang on. So
Yeah.
I want to play on that one where he says, don't be afraid of the objections. What do you think could help you not have a fear of the objections? Come on, I know you know this. What would help?
Script practicing.
Drake says,
Script practicing.
Drake
Yes.
is saying role-playing it
Yes.
out. Yeah.
Yes.
If you're used to
So-
already having the conversations, it's not going to scare you.
So what happens is now we've got several people that are getting together and they're going in the rooms or they're calling each other and they're scripting, the people from PC. So if you're someone that would like to do that, put that in the chat and we'll at the end, we'll see if someone wants to practice with you. I know Jenny, you've been scripting with Caden, correct? Yes. And has
Yes.
someone else been on there doing script practice and stuff together? Do you have someone else, Caden? that you're doing
Yeah, Babette, Jenny, and gosh, what's her name? One more person, and Max Miller as well, and then one more person. Her name doesn't.
Me. I'm that
Thank you,
Mackenzie.
Mackenzie. Thank you, Mackenzie.
Mackenzie, yes. Okay, but that makes a difference. Doesn't it make you feel more confident? When you get out, you may think it's stupid right now, but when you get out in the public and you start talking to someone, when you get the objections like what Justin's talking about here, it will just come to your mind because you've practiced it. You know what to say back to them. I had somebody I was scripting with and they went, oh, you just say that so easy. Guys, I've been doing this for a long time. You know, I've been doing this for a long time. That's what makes a difference. You'll understand, was it condition? You can get them to the point where they will buy. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm so sorry, Marcella. I just realized I didn't even address the young lady's entire question. I rabbit trailed really hard.
that's okay.
But you know, you ask what do you post in Marketplace? So typically 4 to 5 pictures. Keep it really short. I always leave off either price or the address, because I need them to talk to me about that. I want them, because, you know, and Ben Kinney talks about this. When he puts the little flyers in the yard, he goes, all the sellers call me, hey man, there's no price on this. You know, you didn't put something. He goes, yeah, because the people who are interested in that house, you know, put on ski mask in the middle of the night and crawl up there, grab it and run off. And then we don't ever get to talk to them. And they have some sort of idea in their head about needing 20% down, or I couldn't afford that, or whatever. You need to be able to have a full-on conversation with people and don't let them off the hook so easy. Marcella, I have let so much money go because I believed what they said, or I didn't press further, and I took that no for an answer, and just
Say
thought,
close
I
at
mean,
least 9 times. And sometimes
yeah.
it gets uncomfortable when you go
Yeah.
back. Usually they said 7 times. Now, one thing I want to say, and this is not a cop out with what he's saying here, but because of the world and the way we are right now, be sensitive to people. They're
Yes.
going to appreciate that, because it's different than just the objection with the money. I completely understand that you have someone with immune deficiencies in your home and you're a little bit concerned about showing the property. What would make you comfortable? If we made sure that you were out of the home, if we made sure that we had gloves in there, if we ask everyone to wear a mask, if we put hand sanitizers, if there's nothing that would make them comfortable with that, would you be comfortable with just doing virtual? And you can say on there, these people are not comfortable with having someone come through your home. We will take, we'll take offers contingent upon you looking at a home. And, sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
But today there are conditions more than there are objections.
Yes.
So,
yes.
okay.
And Marcel, you're so dead on with that, because I had a seller who they had a toddler who's crawling around the floor. I don't have kids. I'm a bachelor. I don't think about stuff like that. And so I just let her fill in the blank. She said, "What kind of safety precautions are you taking? You're listing our house. What kind of safety precautions are you taking?" I blank because I'm thinking like hand sanitizer, whatever, but I'm thinking there's something she's looking for. So I just asked the question back. I said, "What sort of safety precautions would make you feel best?" And she said, "Well, I would like those like shoe cover things that people, because our kids are always crawling on the floor." And I said, "That is a fantastic idea." Kathan was generous enough to let me get some from him, because everybody was out. And so, letting them fill in the blanks so many times we are pitching them on something that they don't even want or need. We may be talking about something that they're like, "I really don't care, dude." We give presentations all the time to people who do not care about what we're talking about. They're already sold and they're already ready to go. Ben Kinney has the shortest listing presentation in the entire company. He says, "Other than price, is there anything else you'd like to discuss today, or are you ready to go ahead and get started on the paperwork?" His entire listing. He said,
with that said, I'm going to go back into my coaching thing. So
yes.
It's okay. We got to get back on the video because I got a lot of stuff I've got to cover
Yes,
here.
I'm rabbit
I want
trailing
you to
everywhere.
come back. This is great. I'm sure you guys, hands up, you're enjoying this. I know you are with him talking about this. However, you can close, you can get everything signed. Please talk to them about your marketing, your safety, those kind of things. Because what happens if you don't cover that and something is not real positive, they come back and go, "Well, you're not doing what so-and-so is doing." They need to know. They need to have an idea of what you're going to be doing in your marketing, an expectation of why you're not advertising in the newspaper. I mean,
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Go over with them what you do. One of the things that I love about video is that you've got hardcore analytics to be able to show them, because especially like if we're doing like what Marcella says, "Hey, we're not going to do any showings without an accepted offer," or maybe they have someone with an immune deficiency. They need to be able to see what you're doing. We know how to give them feedback, showing time and things like that. But, I had a seller recently who we had a little bit of a conflict. They were severely limiting showings. There's about 84 hours a week that you can show houses in. They were only allowing us 29 hours out of the week to look at those houses and to look at their property. And so it was a severe issue. And they were going, "Well, why isn't our house selling? Are you doing your job?" And being able to say, "Okay, this video has been viewed 8,000 times on this platform, 2,400 times on this platform, 1,700 times on this platform," and be able to say, "Look, you've had over 10,000 people view your home. What do you think's the issue?" That I said, I can show this home to as many people in the world as possible, but if they can't actually get in to see it, then that was more of an issue with them. And they understood that. They went, "Oh, okay." They were millennials. They figured it out. But having video attached to everything, and if any of you guys really want to go in depth with what video does for your business, hit me up anytime. But video for open houses, I like to do one before and after. I will always invite people to my open house when I do the before one. No one ever comes because of the Facebook Live, because not many people are sitting around 30 minutes before an open house and go, oh, we'll drive out to Tawnytown. But what it does is it shows how much work you're doing on something, and it gets people's attention. And at the end of it, it's great to do one and say, we had an unbelievable turnout. And whether it was a good turnout or a bad turnout, it's unbelievable, right? You can say we had an unbelievable turnout. And so it's another way to just get in front of people, showcase that property, and you will, I promise, you will pick up business just from doing those videos, because they stay out there. You know, we say everything on the internet's forever, right? So it's such a boost. It's what I built my business on, you know.
Good. All right. Anybody got any questions? And you know, I would love for you to come back sometime and let's just do some examples of things. I know it may not play as good, but I know that there's lots of people on here that they're just getting into this, and we've got to learn. And I do believe that, Justin, what's happening today is we've got to have some knowledge and some. So I think what you've shared has been valuable to everybody. Caton, did you have a question? I saw your hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Justin, how important is it for you to be in that video as opposed to just showcasing the house? Like you said, with the gimbal, you was walking with the gimbal. Just curious if you have any statistics or any insights on your face being in that video as opposed to the home itself. Just curious.
Yeah, no, great question. You were the most important thing in that video. I don't typically do one without me being in the video, because I think Facebook wants faces, and you know, if we're just out there shooting whatever, people tend to just kind of breeze past it. It's not that big of a deal. I've watched some videos of other people. I watched a video of someone who was trying really hard the other day. Remember, short and sweet. When you're doing video, the shorter and sweeter, the better. Don't spend a lot of time, you know, on something ridiculous. This person wanted to get a long view of their property that they were doing an open house at, and they started like 60 yards away from this house, and they're walking, and it's dark, the video quality was not great, and they're like, apparently it was uphill, and it just started sounding like Darth Vader with asthma trying to walk up this, you know, huge yard, and then they get up there and they're like, so this house, you know, and it was comical. I watched the whole thing because it was funny, but they spent a lot of time on stuff. It was like a 30-minute video. Nobody's going to watch someone walk around a house for 30 minutes. Hit the high points, be really quick, you know, and talk about, you know, even talking about financing in that video is important, but make it be you, because it is more your personal branding that matters than anything else. I go back and forth. I will flip the screen, but I will make sure that I'm in it the majority of the time. You know, I call it Vanna Whiting. You know, you just like do stuff like that. Poor Jared Blackstone, I had him on a video, and he was like, I don't know, how do I touch the cabinets? You know, so it's weird. You're going to be awkward. You're not as awkward as you think you are, because, you know, if you spend any amount of time on the internet, you know, most of us are doing fine. As long as we don't, you know, fall down a flight of stairs, it's fine. Even though it was a realtor who did fall down a flight of stairs and he got like 20,000 views on his video. So do what you got to do, you know? So, you know, the biggest thing about video is just do it. Done is always going to be better than perfect. Marcel and I talk about this all the time. Done is better than perfect. People are not looking for perfection. People just do it, you know? So
Okay.
the more you do it, the better you're going to get.
All right, I have a question that's going to lead into this, and then I've got to move on, and then we're going to have you back. This is really good, Justin.
Yeah,
Thank you so
absolutely.
much. But when you and I talked yesterday, you said Zillow and some of the other search engines will not allow a walkthrough for the whole thing for you to put it on there.
Correct.
So that would be my question. When you're telling them to be in the whole video, was that different than what you said, an intro and an outro, instead of when you're saying be in there the whole time, then they're not going to be able, Zillow's not going to pick it up.
You know, absolutely. So being in there the whole time, that is more for like a Facebook Live.
Okay.
And the thing is, know your platforms and know what they want.
Okay.
So Facebook wants people and stuff. They don't want just, you know, someone, you know, doing whatever for a house. Just they're not into that. Zillow has specific rules. You can have branded video for the first 15 seconds and the last 15 seconds. I would love to have somebody walk through the whole house and talk about it. On Zillow, they just don't allow it. So we got to do what Zillow wants in that case. But on YouTube, Facebook, you know, it's whatever you want to do. I will say this: do not ever shoot a video, put it on YouTube, and then put the link on Facebook. Those are like Bloods and Crips, okay? They don't get along with each other, and Facebook will hide your YouTube links. So don't ever link to YouTube. Put one on YouTube, one on Facebook, one on Zillow. You know, just do what those platforms, you know, need you to do.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
You're very
We'll move
welcome.
on with this. Thank you so much. That's been very, very interesting.
You're very welcome.
with all
You're
that
very,
stuff.
very welcome. So, all right,
Okay.
thank you. Okay.
Yes. All right, we're still on step 3. So phone calling, call and invite. I'm probably not going to have to go through as much of this because we've covered a lot of it with what we've talked about with Justin, but call and invite the people, the neighborhoods, those kind of things. Ask if they're thinking about selling. I used a script a few minutes ago with that. Great excuse or reason to prospect because you've got that listing that's there. Another thing you can use is the speed dialer. I furnish Mojo for you, the list, if you want to go in and buy upgrade so that you can have a speed dialer. Mojo calls like 100, their dollar calls like 185 calls a minute. I don't know if it was a minute or whatever. It was a lot more that was in faster than that 185, I think. An hour is what it was calling instead of a minute. It's gonna keep dialing those things. We do provide Mojo and we provide Cole for prospecting. You get numbers, emails, and addresses. So again, make those phone calls. We give you all the numbers. Give the property basics. When you're on there making your video, talk about how many bedrooms, how many baths, the address. And again, Justin was right. I feel like when you're out in front of the house that you don't want to take them in when you're doing a mega. You just want to talk about the house, talk about the neighborhood, those kind of what day, what time, those kind of things. Don't post pictures of the interior then because you want to leave some things. And I think that was something Justin said a few minutes ago. You don't want to give them all the information because they're not going to come by. So how often do you post? Daily or every other day at least? You can do Craigslist, you can do Facebook. And actually, I was listening to another one of the Keller Williams. He's mentioned a couple of people at Keller Williams that do megas with Joshua Smith. He's mentioned Chris Suarez, who does a teaching on mega open houses on our Connect. When you can actually, it's coaching on the side, the group coaching that you can do. He does one of those. But he mentioned Jeff Cohn is new to Keller Williams, one of the largest agent, most productive with Better Homes and Garden, not Better Homes and Garden, Berkshire Hathaway is who he came from over to Keller Williams this year in January. And one of the things he's done, he said for 10 years, is he's got a guy in the Philippines that does all of his postings on Craigslist. It was very inexpensive. And if you want that information, we can give it to you. I've always stood back a little bit and said Craigslist feels like it is a sham. It'd be easy for someone to get on there and cause a problem with you. But he's been doing it for 10 years and letting this other guy do it. You have to have a computer. I think it was like $250 to get them signed up. So it was not a real expensive venture. And again, Jeff has been doing that for a long time. So this is a sample of what you can say. Hi, I'm Marcella Hagan with the Hagan Group at Keller Williams Market Pro. I'm at 123 Happy Lane in Bella Vista, and I'd like to invite you to our mega open house this Sunday. Give the date, give the time. We'll have door prizes, a couple of beautiful ferns if you want to put that in there, what you're going to give away, and a $50 gift certificate. You may take a couple of takes for you to get all these things in. Now a little information about the property. You tell them 3 bedroom, 2 bath, those things. Invite them with the address. Be sure and put the time. Be sure and put the date. You also might want to add in the very beginning, now this, keep it short because you're just inviting them. This is one of the things you're doing the week before, like Justin had said, we need 7 to 10 days before that. You can call, text me, 479-644-9042, or email me. Again, as you do these videos, you might go back if they're not live. If you do a video and go into iMovie or something that you're using to convert, at the bottom of your page, if some of you have seen me when I was introducing the little sessions that we were doing in the very beginning, I would put the number for Zoom down there, and I would put different things, my phone number, my email, those kind of things. That's the same thing you can do once you make this video. If you save it and put it on there, and you can post it at several different places, or you can do what Justin said and you can go on live with all those different places. Oh, I want to make sure that you understand that call to action is your phone number. It is your email. It is how they can get in touch with you. You want to use that on anything that you do as far as marketing. You want them to know how to get back in touch with you. So quickly, and we are running out of time. We may have to do this in a couple of different sessions, and because I think this was a valuable information that Justin had. But Carrie, I wanted her to talk to us a little bit about command and Facebook ads. So Carrie, I'm going to let you come on here and share a little bit about how you do that. You know what? I think Justin took longer than what I thought he was going to take, and Carrie had to leave and go get Nolan from school. So we will have her do. Y'all, does that sound like something you would like to have someone come on and show you how to run those ads in Facebook for your open houses and stuff like that? Okay, then I'll make sure. I don't know if she'll get back on here today or not, but I'll make sure we have her maybe next week so she can show you that. And I should have had her do that first because I knew she was going to be leaving. So you can target a couple of different groups, people you know and people you don't know. I heard Justin say a few minutes ago that he does his personal Facebook page more than he does his groups or other pages and things. And I have found that when I post on my personal Facebook page, I can post things in our private Keller Williams thing, and I get a lot more comments and posts if I put it out on my personal one, even if I'm having a training for you guys. And I might want to say, would anyone like to come and listen to this? If you're a real estate agent, what could we use that for? Our profit share, you know, and giving back. Again, you want that reputation because the number one people that you're going to market your open houses to are other real estate agents. Anytime you can give back to them is always going to come back to you. So move on with this. And I would suggest that when you're doing a mega or when you're doing an open house, a regular open house, the virtual, they're not going to be there. But instead of just having the regular name, email, and phone number where they sign in, this is going to be advertised. It's going to be marketed. You're going to have a giveaway. So for me to have them in the drawing, I want information from them. So I would use something like this. And if you go into Box, then we'll have the mega open house extras. These things, these examples will be in there so you can take them and make them your own, put your own branding on there. But you want a name, you want an address, you want a phone number. And then you want to ask them, because remember in the beginning I said we're going to target sellers and we're going to target buyers. So ask them, if you're a seller, fill the top part out. If you're a buyer, fill the bottom part out. When do you plan on moving? If you were to move, where would that be? How soon do you need to be there? Basic information, because you want the information at the top, but you do want to know, are they a seller? Are they interested? Because 90% of the people that walk through your open house need to sell a house too. Are they a buyer? What price home are you looking for? Have you been pre-qualified? So how soon do you need a home? Again, 1 month, 2 months. Then if you look to the left, the welcome, please come in. I'm going to suggest that you have those made up. Again, I've got the template so you can use that. It's in Word document. You can print it off, put it outside the house. And then if you can see this little picture up here, this table, it's also right there on the table. So when they come in, they see it again. We've got flyers, we've got brochures sitting up there at a vacant house so they can pick the things up. I would suggest that you have a lender there with you. Those are a couple of agents as the lender that's there. The lender has already been prepped to understand that they're going to get information. They're going to write it down. They're standing there with you when you say, when do you plan on moving? You know, those things. They're going to write that stuff down and help you with the clipboard that they've got. So welcome. Please sign in. For security purposes, the seller requests that all guests please sign in. Here would be a great thing for you to put on there about not just security, but the safety precautions. Please wear a mask if there's somebody with immune deficiencies that are there, or if you just want them to wear a mask when they go through the house. I think Rogers yesterday just passed a ruling that everybody now in Rogers, when they're out in public, needs to wear a face mask. So be aware when you're in Rogers showing homes, that's one thing that they've asked you to do. As a matter of fact, I think it's good anytime you're going up to a door, anytime you're talking to someone, you put that mask on. If they don't have one on, you might ask them if they're comfortable with you taking it off, and you're comfortable taking it off. But they're giving you an excuse to protect yourself at this point if you want to do that. So have one of these. They do need to register. I don't give away prizes to someone that doesn't register. And again, you can do that at your end video. Once you're doing your end video, hey, this is Marcella. We're finishing up our open house at da-da-da-da, and we're going to have a drawing, and you do some kind of a drawing with that at the end. Here's a big picture, always on the front door, always on the inside. And then step 4 is set it up, prep the house. You can do that for Mega, virtual, or the regular one. Assemble your marketing plans. You can do that for all of them and put signs up. And you know, one thing Justin said a few minutes ago, and I haven't thought about this, but for a virtual one, there's lots of things you can think outside the box. So if you're going to have a virtual open house and you want people to maybe know where it is, you might put signs up. It will just take a little bit, stick those signs in the yard, and then take your video as your video and yourself, and that one of the videos that you're going to do for the 7 to 10 days that you're prospecting, and say, hey, let's go on a journey. Let me drive you. This is how you get into this house. And take them, show them the surroundings, show them the playground that's in the neighborhood, show them the swimming pool that's in the neighborhood, and take them around to that. So that's a good idea for the virtual ones to make that work. Host the event, select a gift that will appeal. Gift cards, everybody likes the gift cards. Have a side table with the entry cards, that clipboard that we just talked about, 3x5 cards, whatever you want to have. Any kind of brochures that promoting you, promoting the company, promoting the house, have those there. Require all contact info to be eligible for the name, address, phone number. So to be eligible for this drawing, you want all the information on there. Have something that they're going to want for the drawing. Again, get someone to help you sponsor that. Your affiliates will be glad to do that. All right, and then 6 and 7 is you're going to wrap up, you're going to follow up, you're going to clean up the property. Always leave the property clean, secure it, especially with the Mega and the realtor open houses. When you're just having the regular ones, make sure that you've cleaned up when you're actually inside that. With a virtual one, if you're walking around through the property, as Justin said, you're the most important thing that's in there when you're doing that virtual. When you're in there, well, then clean up whatever you've left out. A tip that I think has really been a neat thing for the sellers, especially if it's a home that's occupied, is go to Walmart, pick up a $10 little bouquet of flowers, leave that with a thank you note. It's just a small thank you, and it goes a long ways with those sellers. Go out and pick up all your signs. Do not leave those signs out, especially with Megas. When Justin said he put out 60, don't leave 60 signs out. When he mentioned Joshua Smith, sometimes they did 100. I feel like that our trunks get pretty full, and a lot of us, you know, put enough out. Get your directions where you're going to be, and pick up all the signs. Send thank you notes and emails to the people that attended, including other agents. If another agent brings an agent by, thank them for bringing somebody by. Again, follow up with them. What did your clients think about that? If you had to put a directional sign up in someone's yard, then please be sure and thank them for that. This is a video.
Hey, look,
okay, today is the day. We're having our Mega open house out at 3803 Lone Oak. Hope everybody comes on out and get a nice look at this house and sign up for some gift cards and some movie tickets. Come on out between 2 and 4.
Okay, that was the one before, so it's simple. It doesn't matter. Just happy. There were flags. You saw that out in front of the house. That's one we did a long time ago that I just had saved so you could get an idea of that was right before the open house. So let's review the 7 steps. You're going to identify the property. You're going to prepare the marketing. You're going to invite people, the different ways that we talked about. Excuse me. You're going to set it up, host it, wrap it up, and then you're going to follow up. The traffic boosters we talked about, you want directional signs. You want to invite the neighbors. Again, get cold, call them, drop off a flyer at their house, notify the buyer leads that you've got in your pipeline, internet postings, Facebook, Instagram, any place that you can get out there on the internet. And then flags and balloons, those 11-foot flags that are out there. Balloons, you want more than one. You want it to look like a happy place. Your video, we've talked about that a lot here. Then targeted Facebook ads. I'll get Carrie to share a little bit about how you target on command. It's really easy. We've been doing that. Before we started using command, we were doing these things and not getting nearly the leads. Everything that we have done since we started using command, we are getting an email, a phone number, and a name. Some of them are not right, but most of them are. So you're definitely going to get leads with that. And then a sign spinner was the last thing, and we didn't talk about it, except Justin mentioned that he had the pinwheel things that's out there. There are people that actually stand out on the corner and they spin a sign and they'll say, try to get people down. You can get kids, high school kids, college kids, they'll stand out there if you want to get somebody sign to get a sign made to do this, to get people to your open house. Anything you can do that's outside of the box for these mega ones. Now, general negotiating, I'm going to cover this at another time so we can move through here. And I'm going to stop sharing. So if we've got some questions on this, I know we've talked really, really fast. I think this was some great information for you. Have you guys got any information on things that we've talked about so far? One of the things I would tell you, if you're going to hand out a flyer, and I cut this back because I knew Justin was going to be on there, but there you will find this in your box under PC coaching. So one of the things that you might want to use, instead of a house with a bunch of pictures of the house and stuff, use a black and white flyer. You may use a QR code. Always have a call to action, a QR code. You can go to qrstuff.com and create one for free. And that, when they scan that, will give them their information. But black and white doesn't look like a real estate agent has left something, so they want to look at it and see what it is. You may use the same black and white if you're using mailers that are out there. So with flyers, anything else that you have a question about that we talked about today? I feel like I talked 90 miles an hour trying to get through all that really quick. Did you get something? I like your smiles anyway. Yes.
Great content. Thank you so much for sharing.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. No questions?
I have a question.
Okay.
How do you decide if you're going to do a mega open house versus just a regular? Is it price point, the seller's request, your choice?
It's basically, Erin, that's a great question. And it is your choice. If you can plan, it's just like, you can tell Justin has been through a whole lot of this training because I did this several times with this open house. But if you need to plan a mega at least 7 to 10 days out for everything to work like that. Now, the number one thing that they're looking at is directional signs. So if you put enough directional signs out, that's going to overcome a whole lot of those things. So if you skip some things in a mega that we're saying this is a mega open house, it's not going to necessarily mean that you're not going to have a successful one. For instance, I had an agent one time that was on our team that I followed her signs and I thought they were crazy. They were far apart. She started one on Horsebarn Road and it was over in Lockmore. And then she didn't have another one for a long time. And I thought, no one's going to show up. We had 40 people show up at that one. And it was before, like now it's nothing to have 25 or 30 because they're out looking at houses when you're having them open. So I think basically one of the reasons I put mega, regular, and virtual on here is to show you that anything is possible. So it depends on what time. What I would tell you not to do, Erin, is don't go in where your printer is, print an MLS sheet out and go and sit at a house for 2 hours and just say it's open. You do want to market it somewhere on Facebook, somewhere on the internet, and say I always put it on the MLS because that will post that it was in there. But I think anything from an extreme mega all the way down, what I know is we're going to have to test the market right now. We're going to have to see what's happening with open houses. I think they're just now starting to come back and people are going. Please remember that we do need to be safe. So as doing the mega, if you have 60 people there, what is your plan for getting them through that home safely? You know, are you going to have them stand outside and only take a couple at a time? Then you're going to have a long open house and you're going to be there for a while. If you're going to have open houses in person today, I would say that you need to have them from 1 to 5. If you're going to invite the neighbors from 1 to 2, 2 to 4 is not long enough. Because, I mean, this is where you're trying really to get the clients that you want to build your business with. And so if you're going to be out and you're going to take the time to do that, have it longer, stay there. Because I found that after 4 is when a lot of people show up. I don't know if they've gone to somewhere else first or what, but I'd say stay there. So to answer your question, I would look at all the different things that you do, and then I would pick some of those and try to do them. If you're going to eliminate some things, I would put as many signs out as possible because I think that's important. And I would do as many video shots as possible from all different places, giving the address and everything that you're doing. So, and remember when he was talking about videos, you cannot put a branded video on the MLS. So you can't be in it. The sign can't be in it. If you put your listings up on YouTube, and if you put a video on YouTube, search engine has proven, because Google actually owns YouTube. If you put the address up there, it's going to help you on search engine optimization for them when they're looking for something. So if you put the address on YouTube, it will help you, but you cannot share those on the MLS. They will fine you. They'll ask you to take it down. So if you want to share a YouTube video, you're going to have to set up a separate YouTube account that is non-branded, like Northwest Arkansas Homes, no picture of you or anything, because when it goes back to that channel and it shows you, trust me, I've had this happen to me because I didn't realize this several years ago, and I had all these links to YouTubes that I felt so good about everything I was doing, and I thought it was non-branded because I was not in there. There was no picture in there. It had nothing, but what it was doing was it was taking them back to my YouTube channel that had everything on there about me. So, any other questions? That's a great question.
I have a question.
Okay.
My tablet head went dead, but I'm glad y'all still here. I have a question about if you're doing an open house in a model home and the home is not for sale, how do you go about?
The home is not what?
Not for sale. If it's a model home, it's the home set up.
I would just say, hey, this is Marcella. I'm with Hagen Group at Keller Williams Market Pro Realty. And today I'm in a model home. This home is not for sale, but I want you to see all the amenities of things that you can buy when you're ready to build your own home. Plus, we have several that are almost completed. If you want to give me a call, my phone number is da-da-da-da. So I would do a couple little things like that. Say you're in a model home. This is not the one for sale. You might walk by. If you're in the model home, usually they have samples of things that are out there. You can walk by and point to that. Here's all the different kind of floor designs that we can choose from. You know, again, this is Marcella. I'm with Keller Williams Market Pro Realty, and I'd love to hear from you. My phone number, always put a call to action in there. Great question. Did that answer it?
Yes, it did. I have one more question. I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay, that's okay.
What about when people come out to the model home and they're thinking it's for sale and it's not, and I'm just actually just trying to get contacts?
You need to have a plan of a home that's similar to that. So the model home, are you talking about you're doing a model home for a builder?
Yes.
Okay. Do they have other homes that are for sale?
Yes.
Yes. Then show them those other homes, you know, move out of that model home and go to that other home. My first question is this what you're looking for when they walk in, you know, and what are you looking for? So you're going to ask them questions that are going to pre-qualify them as a buyer. You know, are you working with another real estate agent? You know, and even if they are, you can help them, refer them back, because that's a whole nother class when we talk about when you're working with somebody else, because of procuring calls, depends on if they sign something, those kind of things. But, you know, it's our team of my team at the Hagen team at one point, right now, there's not as many of them out there, but they sold quite a few homes out of a model home for a builder with just them coming in here. And a lot of model homes, it depends on what builder you're with, they've got an agent that's on their team that when you get a buyer, you go set them down with that agent, you get the full 3%. You need to understand if you're setting in a model home, what are they paying you and how is this going to work out? Is it them that writes the contract or you writing the contract?
Okay.
Anything else? It's been a great session, you guys. Thank you for showing up. I hope you got lots of information out of it. Let's recruit to productivity coaching. I do think it can make a difference in the new agents that are here at this market center and things that they're learning and their business and setting their goals. So some of you guys that are brand new, if you don't have a contract and you're interested in a contract, we will be contacting you. And if you've got questions about the contract, then please get in touch with me or Carrie and we'll answer those. Okay. All right. I'll see you guys next week or call me if you need me. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
You're
Bye-bye.
welcome.
Appreciate it.